Suddenly, the Charlie bleated an alarm. Quasimodo rushed to the window. "Frollo's coming," he said. "Hurry, go down the south tower steps." "Be careful, my brave friend," Esmeralda told Quasimodo. "Promise me you won't let anything happen to him?" Quasimodo nodded. "I promise." She patted his cheek. "Thank you." Then when she was gone, as fast as he was able, Quasimodo lifted Phoebus from the bed, hid him under a table, and covered him with a tablecloth. Moments later, Frollo entered the bell tower. He was crying a little covered blanket. "Master," said Quasimodo, trying to keep his voice steady, "I didn't think you would be coming." Frollo sat himself at a table and looked expectantly at Quasimodo. "Well?" he asked. "Oh, sorry," said Quasimodo. He scurried about and set the table. "Grapes for you, dear boy," Frollo said at last, opening the basket. "I'm never too busy to share a meal with you." A grape rolled across the table and tumbled onto the floor. Quasimodo sprang from his seat and picked it up. He blinked hard. Phoebus's hand was sticking out from under the cloth. Quickly, he pushed it back. "You seem a bit nervous," said Frollo. "Is something troubling you? Are you hiding something from me?" "Me? Oh, no, master." Quasimodo sat back at the table. "You're not eating," said Frollo. Quasimodo stuffed a handful of grapes into his mouth. "These are very good," he said. Phoebus let out a little moan. Repeated Quasimodo. "Very good indeed." Frollo rose from the table. "What's different in here?" he asked, looking around the bell tower. "Nothing, sir," answered Quasimodo, almost frozen with fright. Frollo glanced at the miniature town, then he picked up the figure of a woman. "Isn't this new?" he asked. "It looks very much like a gypsy girl." He put his face very close to Quasimodo's. "I know," he said. "I know you helped her escape." Quasimodo gulped and crowed, fearing the blows of his master had dealt him so many times before. "And now all of Paris is burning." Frollo's face trembled with rage. "All because of you." "Shh, shh, shh. Was kind to me, master," said Quasimodo. "You idiot." With a sweep of his arm, Frollo knocked the little town onto the floor. "The woman is a witch. She has you under a spell. Gypsies aren't capable of real love. Think of your own mother." Then Frollo became strangely calm and put his arm around Quasimodo's shoulder. "Well, I will soon free you from Esmeralda's evil spell," he said. "What do you mean?" asked Quasimodo. Frollo spoke distantly and slowly. "Listen carefully to me," he said. "I've discovered where her hideout is. Tomorrow at dawn I will attack with 1,000 men." Snatching up a figure of Esmeralda, Frollo took his knife and plugged it into the little wooden model. Then he set it on fire, tossed it to the floor, and left the room. As Quasimodo stared at the charred figurine, Phoebus crawled out from under the table and groggily struggled to his feet. "We must find the Court of Miracles before dawn," Phoebus said. "We've got to warn them." He stopped at the door. "Are you coming with me?" Quasimodo shook his head. "I can't." Phoebus raised his eyebrows in surprise. "I thought you were Esmeralda's friend." "Frollo's my master," said Quasimodo. "I can't disobey him again." "Esmeralda stood up for you," Phoebus told him. "You've got a funny way of showing gratitude. Well, I'm not going to sit back and watch Frollo massacre innocent people." Holding his wounded shoulder, He staggered from the room. Quasimodo stood quietly. He took Esmeralda's necklace from inside his shirt. Frollo was right. Esmeralda didn't love him. After all, she loved Phoebus. Why should he help her? And how could he take another chance on a world where people had treated him so cruelly? Still, Esmeralda has rescued him at the festival, while Frollo did nothing, but Frollo was his master. Yet Esmeralda, at a time when she hardly knew him, had risked her own safety for his. Quasimodo rushed to join Phoebus. Phoebus constantly opened one of the side doors. He peeked out and breathed a sigh of relief. Not a soldier in sight. If he could make it across the square unseen, he'd be one of his way. Quasimodo, out of nowhere, appeared hanging upside down from a ledge. He somersaulted and landed in front of Phoebus. "Good grief, man!" Phoebus cried out. "You startled me." "Shh!" whispered Quasimodo. "I'm coming with you." "Glad you changed your mind," said Phoebus. "I'm doing it for her, not for you," Quasimodo told him. He showed Phoebus Esmeralda's necklace. "She said this will help us find her." Phoebus studied it. "It's got some sort of charm or talisman hanging from it. Must be some sort of code." "I think it's a map," said Quasimodo. "You see," he pointed with his finger, "the cross represents the cathedral, and the lines are the streets of the city." "A map?" scoffed Phoebus. "I've been in battles on 4 continents, and I think I've got a pretty good idea what a map looks like, and this is not it." "Well," said Quasimodo, "I've lived up in the bell tower for 20 years, and I think I know what this city looks like from above, and this is it." "Fine," said Phoebus at last. "If you say it's a map, it's a map. But look, if we're going to help Esmeralda, we better call a truce." "All right," agreed Quasimodo. He pointed to a talisman again, looked at this pointed symbol. "It's placed inside the city graveyard. I'll bet that's the Court of Miracles. I know just where it is," Quasimodo told him. "I've seen it from the bell tower." As soon as they crossed the square and disappeared onto a side alley, a figure stepped out of the shadows of Notre Dame. It was Frollo. He'd been listening to the every word, keeping a safe distance behind Quasimodo and Phoebus. Frollo led his troops through the moonlit city at the edge of town. He saw them go up in the cemetery gate. As Quasimodo pushed open the heavy iron gate, it rustled, hinges creaked. He helped to steady Phoebus, who was weak from the long walk. Casually, they entered the quiet graveyard, the headstones standing like ghostly Santa gleams in the moonlight. An owl, disturbed by men's approach, swooped past on the silent wings. Startled, Quasimodo and Phoebus ducked. Then casually they began to search the graveyard. Several minutes later, Quasimodo nudged Phoebus. A large pointed tom loomed before them. "This looks like the symbol on the map," explained Phoebus. Quasimodo fingered the cold marble surface and felt a deep groove. He traced its outline. "Phoebus," he cried, removing the cover. Right inside the entry, a torch flickered an iron holder. It lit the way to the flight of steps. "It led underground," breathed Phoebus. "I'm glad you decided to come along, Quasimodo. A little trip through the dark rat is the catacombs is always more fun when you bring a friend." At the bottom of the steps, a torchlight lit room opened up before them. The room was lined with skeletons sitting propped against the walls.